I'm gonna rejoin quickly.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Round 9, Season 12 of AFR's Super Formula League. I am your commentator, David Cook, for this afternoon's proceedings. I have co-commentator here with me, Sarah Morfetova, who will be giving her input every now and then intermittently. We are just getting underway with some qualifying, which should be coming up on your screens in just a moment. In fact, it's already there, so that is fantastic. But yeah, no, it is an exciting time to be around. We are approaching the final 2 rounds of the season. We are going to have Road America this week, and then it will be Suzuka in 2 weeks' time to finish off Season 12. We've got an exciting one in the driver's standings at the very least. The top 2 separated by a whole 28 points, and Yi Icebrin Stopper leading the way in the Porsche Super Formula team, and then behind in the Dogpaw Racing outfit.
I'll watch turn 1. If you want to watch the other one, turn 8, we don't need to watch because they bottom out there anyway, so they'll lose time.
And Nick, of course, our race director for the afternoon
I'll
as
watch
well.
turn 1. And
Nick,
you watch
could
turn
you
5.
mute yourself on Discord?
Oh, apologies.
There we go, finally. We've got a bit of peace and quiet now. And, of course, Juniper Makova in 3rd, Rojas in 4th, Johan Koloshak 5th, Sarah Molfatova 6th, but of course she has now moved to commentary duties with me, myself and I. And then Nick Heikalas in 7th place there, Leon Jenkins in 8th, Ray Spider in 9th, and Charlie Lamberson in rounding out your top 10. Outside of that is Leslie Peters, James Kay, Chris Boxall, Sean Fitzgerald, and Neil Besu. And then outside of that, rounding out your 21 drivers is Daniel Bikers, Max Fenger, Tuki Gonzalez, Cedric Nakashima, Amma Alhavi, and Thomas Windle. But now, moving on to your team standings, it's the Porsche Super Formula team looking like they are going to take things as it stands. They are leading the way by a whole 34 points to the Dogpaw Racing outfit. Then it is the Cheese Sports Super Formula team in 3rd with a whole 42 points, followed by Kings Racing in 4th there with 37, and then Samsung Galaxy Clarkson Racing there, 29 points in 5th. Then rounding out your top 11, RGMF Racing, Nicolina Racing Team, Hexa AF Racing, Skoda Motorsports, Alavi BKM, and then the Untitled Racing Team, and from 8th to 11th, no points at all. But anyway, today we are around Road America, but first and foremost, Sarah, hello to you as well. What do you think of Road America?
I've driven at this track in Season 9, and I don't like the track. But, okay, to say I don't like the track is a bit harsh, because it is quite a fun track. It's very flowing, it has challenging corners, it has very fast and very scary corners, and I just don't have good memories with it. But I'm sure there are drivers on the grid who love this track, who are excited to go racing. And another reason to be excited to go racing today is because we have a potential championship decider on our hands in the form of Icebrin Stoppa. If he does not lose any points to Andy Park today, he becomes champion for the first time.
And yes, no, of course, we should break down the point situation and what's offered. So in qualifying, which is, of course, the 20-minute session that we are in the middle of as of right now, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd will get points. So P1 gets 3 points, P2 gets 2 points, and then P3 will get a singular point. The sprint race, which, of course, will be the last one for the season, which is going to be on this round, that is from P1 to P6. You get 8 points, 6 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point there. Both RGMF cars are not racing today. No, the team pronunciation is wrong. Sorry. Yes, as Sarah says in chat, I am British, so please forgive me. And if I do get any pronunciations wrong, please send me a direct message in Discord. I am more than happy to be corrected there. Or if you can just phonetically place it in chat, that's also fine as well, so that we can fix it immediately.
Speaking of Discord, by the way, could you please stream the race to me?
No problem at all. Did you call me Daddy there?
No, I said to me.
Okay. My apologies. There you go. You should have the race on your screen. Now, as Koloshak up into 3rd with a 139.766, but Stopper and Rojas currently rounding out your top 2, but then all of a sudden Andy Park there with an emphatic time of 1:38.452. Just want to say the pole last time here, which was, as Sarah was talking about, season 9, was a 1:39.437 by Diego Batterini, Brazilian driver. He did a 1:39.437, and well, by nearly a whole second, Andy Park in the dog pole car has beaten that and some. So at the moment, I'll DM you. Thank you very much. And at the moment now, so Stopper needs to find 6/10 from somewhere to confirm the championship as things stand right now. But as we all know, it's always easier said than done. Of course, qualifying is one session. We'll have a 15-minute sprint and then a 20-lap race. So it's by no means all doom and gloom. If you don't necessarily succeed in qualifying, you've got a couple of opportunities to make up for it later on. And as we have 13.5 minutes to go, grid start to be formed. Peters there was the only one who hadn't set a representative lap time, but he has now done that. He has gone across the line on a 1:42, and that leaves him 3.7 seconds behind the leader there. But Sarah, who's your one to look out for today? Would you say Andy Park setting the pace rather early and is in on an emphatic time, you must say?
Well, from the practice session and from what well, at least from what I've seen in practice, because I have a close connection with the dogpile team, I believe that Andy has the edge here, but I know that Icebrand has a lot to show. And another thing is about this qualifying session is that slipstream on this track is very, very powerful, especially if you're running a high downforce setup. And I'm sure we'll see some of that today, possibly from the Porsche team or from dogpile or from both, because there is a lot on the line, not only the team's championship, but the driver's championship as well. So I think we'll see a lot happen today, and I'm very excited to see it.
I must say, I think we are in for quite a treat this evening as well. I think it's going to be, I hope it's really close as well. Like, you know, we always hope for close racing, but obviously hope and reality are two different things. I do just want to go through one thing that was mentioned in the driver's briefing today, and that is track limits. Now, obviously, you've seen quite a few people go beyond the white line. So as you see, turns 1, turn 5 and turns 8, as long as drivers have 2 wheels on the stripped curve. I'll kind of show you one of these as of right now as we see Tuki Gonzalez. You see that strip curve there? As long as 2 wheels are on that, the lap will remain valid. I do believe we will have that reviewed manually by the stewards, if I'm remembering that correctly. But
Yeah,
as
it is,
go on.
that is correct. So during the qualifying, we'll possibly hear race control come over TeamSpeak to notify drivers of their lap being invalid because of them going too far wide at certain turns where it is possible to go wide, but unfortunately with how this video game is made and how this specific track is made, sometimes the game does not register an invalid lap because of how the track limits are set. So we are reviewing that manually and enforcing our rules.
Absolutely, and then as soon as we say that, Stopper is now in the 138s himself. He got up to a 138.8, but then Park, well, still with a 138.4. So Stopper finding half a second there on that previous lap, or just about half a second anyway. So now both Park and Stopper into the 138s, and I suspect the sprint race obviously will have no pit stops required, but then of course in the feature race, mandatory stop required. 19 not cooking, says one of the chatters, and that is of Nick Highcallis there, 2.6 seconds off of this battle. So Icebrand Stopper going faster to sector 1. Let's stay with this for the time being, and let's go on board with the Porsche Super Formula driver, I think that is. I'm sticking with that for now, unless if I'm going to be corrected. But at the moment now, just approaching. Thank you very much.
Correct, yes.
At the moment now, we are seeing him go through the carousel of turn number 8. We then are going through to the kink as we see a car parked there. That's turn number 11. And now this is called Kettle Bottoms. This turn is 11A. and then it's Calendar Corner, which is turn number 12 here, this right-hander medium high-speed corner. There you go, keeping all four wheels on the stripped curb there. Flat through here, you go slightly uphill, then it all levels out for the final turn of number 14 there. Meet that apex, go very wide there, meet that exit concrete. Was up on his personal best in Sector 2, but what is it going to be in Sector 3? Will it be as fast as Park? Not quite. It is a personal best improvement, but still need to find just under 2/10, Sarah.
Yeah, when you were mentioning the names of the corners, there's one thing that I really like about American tracks and compared to European tracks and tracks everywhere else in the world, because of how they number the corners. Because when you have chicanes or certain sequences of corners, instead of them just saying turn 5, 6, 7, they do 5A, 5B, and that sort of stuff. I think that's very smart, and I wish the rest of the world did that.
I gotta agree as well. Like, unfortunately, there's a really bad example here. Like, if you just consider, like, you have turns 1, turn 2, and turn 3. That little kink in between turns 1 and 2. So there's a fake turn 2, like you would see in Austria, and then there's a fake turn 4 down that long straight where you go onto that heavy braking for the left-hander of turn 5. So unfortunately, not whole examples followed there, but you know, it is what it is. I will admit, I agree with you there, Sarah. I do prefer that over, like, you know, having fake turn 2, like as I just said, in Austria. But anyway, at the moment now, all 10 bar 2 are out on a flying lap as of right
if you
now.
just bought your lap, you extended turn 1 for tyres over the white line, or over the curb, sorry.
Who was that for, Sarah? I didn't quite catch that.
I was not saying anything.
Oh, okay. No, I was just wondering, did you catch
Leslie Peters.
Leslie Peters has a lap time invalidated.
Oh, okay, I apologize. I cannot hear TeamSpeak because of it being misconfigured on my computer, so I'll have to probably reinstall it, but so I won't be able to hear any of the call-outs.
Gotcha, but I'm just saying that we've got Andy Park there, who's gone fastest in Sector 1, slightly slower in Sector 2, but that's only 0.006 of a second. That is little to no time at all. Andy Park is absolutely on it. He is looking for every 100th, every 1000th, or every 10th through every single corner. Can he get into the 137s? That would be an insane time. That was quite wide at the apex there through turn number 14. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. I could be wrong, though. Here we go across. No, it's an improvement there. A 138.397. So now Stopper needs to find a few hundredths there to try and keep up with Andy Park as he goes wide there.
Lap time validated. I bought your lap. Track limits turn 1.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch, specifically Andy Park and Iceberg Stopper driving any qualifying lap in any track this season, really, because they are just so far above the entire competition. They've practiced these tracks in ways that no one else has, because they're both pushing extremely hard for the championship, more than I've actually ever seen in this league. And it's incredible to see the results of it, of them pushing every single lap and hitting every apex perfectly and not leaving any margin, just because I know specifically with Andy, and I assume Icebrand does the same. They go and practice each corner individually, rewind it hundreds of times just to get it perfectly and find every single detail, and it's incredible to watch, really.
Absolutely, and this is a really fantastic end to the championship as well. Remember, we're in the final 2 rounds, so in case if you're just joining us for the first time this evening, it is the final 2 rounds. So we're in Road America this week, and then in 2 weeks' time, we'll then be off to the Asian side of the world. It will be in Japan's Suzuka circuit, where it will be a nice 32 degrees Celsius, and don't forget to bring your strawberry ice, shaved ice, to that track. But anyway, Fernando Rojas actually went up to 3rd there while we were talking about that. He is now 0.6 of a second off of the leader of Park there. So Rojas might be finding something here. He could be one to look out for as well, but Kroloshak there behind by half a second. Let's see what the Frenchman is up to at the moment, just going through the King of Turn 11, then to Kettle Bottoms through 11A. down to Canada corner here. All three of these corners got a name. And now here we go there. And oh, I thought that was a bit beyond the lines there, but I think he did just enough to keep it within legal limits there. So as Korolczak approaches the final turn now, let's see what that is. Gonzalez as well improves up into 5th place with a 1:39.616, but Korolczak might be actually starting a flying lap. Indeed he is, as Rojas is now off into the pits with 4.5 minutes to go. It could go any of which way. Makova as well, I think, is on a flyer as well. I don't have any live timing, sadly. We've had to go on the backup server. Don't know if that comes with any backup timing, though. I don't know if anybody could let me know about that, so I can have a look. Oh, I thought I had a little notification there, but I do apologise. But anyway, Nick Highcallis is currently up on his personal best. He's in 7th position, 1.7 seconds behind the pole time. Sector 2 down on his personal best, though. And at the moment, looks like this might not be a non-improvement. Hasn't got a lot of time left, so opportunities are running out. And here we go. Let's see what it is. Across the start-finish line, it's into the pits, Sarah. So interesting time for Nick. He's got enough time, though, I would say, so he doesn't have to panic just yet. But I imagine as you get into these later stages, the pressure's on when you know you can find some more time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does make me wonder if we're gonna see what I suspected earlier in the qualifying session. If we're gonna see any slipstreaming from teammates, because with Assetto Corsa, it is believed that the session just goes to 100% and it stays there. But for me, at least, I've always felt the placebo that this track is much creepier at the end of the session, and I've always seemed to improve. And I know that other people improve at the end of the session as well. It might just be placebo, it might just be them pushing even harder, but I think we're still gonna see the order shuffled a little bit.
Absolutely, I've had a DM sent, but at the moment, Stopper now down in Sector 1 by over...
Number 10, Johan Korolczak, abort lap, track limits turn 1.
Ooh, I believe if I heard that correctly, that was for Rojas there. Track limits in turn 1. We'll have time to go for another lap, but it is going to be very difficult from here. So
It was car number 10.
Car number 10 there. So it was actually Korolczak. I do apologise. I misheard that entirely. Nocciolina? I don't think I'm saying that correctly at all. Oh, Stopper there. Definitely testing the limits of the track. Let's wait and see if we have a message from race director. Don't have anything at the moment. Sounds like it was legal for the time being. So Stopper just doing enough to keep that within track limits. But also, it looks like it's over 3 minutes.
That could be a bug.
Could be a bug indeed.
Yeah, it wasn't 3 minutes, but it wasn't an improvement either.
No. So at least some part of it was truth, but now, well, let's hope Stopper has enough fuel, because he's really only got 2 laps to go if you include this one. So next time across the line will be his final flying lap. We'll keep an eye on that. What is Andy Park up to? He's got personal best in Sector 2. What is this gonna be when it comes to the start-finish line? Oh my word! And yet again, Andy Park finds a few hundredths to improve on there. And again, he finds more time, and Stopper now, I can't see Stopper.
And crucially, Andy Park is still as Stopper stops on the track, goes onto the grass, I think he might have run out of fuel or he's retiring. I don't think he's going to set another lap, which is bad news, because he needs to. Or he's just getting out of the way and preparing to set a lap. But as we see all of his rivals still pushing on, even Andy Park went for another lap and might still be improving as yet. Fernando Rojas, I think he's currently on his out lap, as we saw when Icebrand was starting his lap. So he's leaving it to the very last moment. I think he'll barely make it over the line. But I'm interested to see the other drivers, and speaking of, we see Johan making a mistake, so that's his qualifying over. He's starting P4 at the most. What about Tuki Gonzalez? He's pushing on, he's improving on his lap time barely. but even a small improvement would push him above Johan Karolczak. As we see, Kar distantly
Qualifying
slipstreaming
over,
him,
please
but not
finish your
really
current
because of how
laps.
Asura Corsa works. As Makova improves her lap time, jumps ahead of Tuki Gonzalez, right in between that small gap of between Johan and Tuki Gonzalez. What can Tuki do in his last corner? He's currently slightly down on his lap time. He would need something special here, and it's not. He goes wide off the apex, and that is surely him sitting in P6 unless someone behind can do anything about it.
Let's see what this is. It's an improvement to 4th place for Gonzalez. But what about Rojas behind? He just got across the line to start another, or has he? I don't know if he has. He's pushing regardless, but no, he's not got a checkered flag across his name. So this is a flag lap as he gets it all wrong. Going into hurry downs, round turn number 8, and it all goes wrong. But it is still 3rd place. Karolczak, of course, confirms P5. But anyway, on pole position, getting your 3 points from qualifying, it is Andy Park. Stopper will come away with 2 points towards his name in 2nd, and then Rojas will get a singular point for 3rd place. The rest of your grid lines up as 4th place Gonzalez, 5th place Karolczak, Makova in 6th, Pykalis in 7th, Spider 8th, Peters in 9th, and Muck 5 whole seconds off the time there, down in 10th. And, yeah, Muck really off the pace there. We didn't really talk much about him, but he's really got to find something, Sarah. And that's, I do feel sorry for him in a way as well, because it's very difficult being the slowest there. It's very demotivating, I would say.
Yeah, it is absolutely difficult. With Alex Mack, he's quite, I would say, inconsistent. He can be on the pace, but he can also be very off the pace. And with him specifically, he's been involved in a few incidents throughout the season, which have resulted in a few penalty points, which got him up to a season ban. But I know Alex Mack outside of racing, and he's not a bad dude. He's smart, and I know he's learning from all of his mistakes. And perhaps he's not the most experienced, so I think there's still more to come from him as he progresses through his career.
Anyway, now
drivers race server will be online in 2 minutes.
Race server in 2 minutes. I think we should take some time, as we'll have a sprint race beforehand. I think we need to give a message to our sponsor. So, NordVPN, take it away.
This stream is driven by NordVPN, the leading VPN to protect your online activity. Safeguarding your identity and data is as important as ever, and NordVPN's threat protection feature can guard you from malware, ads, malicious sites, and trackers. NordVPN allows you to virtually place yourself in over 59 countries worldwide with access to over 5,500 servers, all while maintaining purple sector speeds over the competition. NordVPN also provides extra features compared to other similar services, such as no bandwidth or data limits, highest industry speeds, allowing 6 simultaneous connections, and no data logging. Also interested in password management or cloud data storage? Well, NordPass and NordLocker have you covered there too. Check out NordVPN using our link nordvpn.com/AFR with a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee, and use code AFR to get 1 month extra free.
And a huge thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring AFR. Our links are currently down in the description. And of course, thank you yet again to NordVPN. And now, as we wait to get underway, Sarah, it is the sprint race to begin with. And when you were driving in this league, how did you use the sprint race to prepare for the feature race? Or did you treat them as 2 separate races? What was the mindset going into both?
Before anything,
server now online. Race server.
you need to rejoin the server. The session restarts, or the server restarts between every session, so you'll need to leave and rejoin.
No problem at all. Let me just fix that really quick.
While you do that, I'll answer your question. So, the sprint race is basically a little bit of a preview, if you will, of the main race. You don't have any pit stops, you don't have any strategy, and people are usually far more aggressive. But it gives you a little bit of a taster of what to expect, and you go into it. You have a race. And with every wheel-to-wheel battle that you have in the sprint race, it gives you more information on how to race around the track, which lines work, where you want to go around the outside, where you want to go down the inside, which basically which moves work and what doesn't work at all, and that is very valuable information for all of the drivers. So, and another thing is that if you have a bad sprint race, it's not over because nothing you do in the sprint race matters for the feature race, where you will start back from where you qualified.
Thank you very much. So let's see how all drivers treat this. Of course, we should expect
Also, please stream the race on Discord so I can commentate.
this. Thank you very much. Thank you for the reminder. As always, well, what would I do without you? I am not very sure. But anyway, at the moment now, we're just waiting for the countdown to begin for the beginning of the sprint race. Remember, this is the first of 2 races this evening, so we'll have a 16-minute sprint this time around, and then...
And just information to all drivers, unfortunately Tio's internet is not working correctly, so there will be no safety car for the remainder of the races. If race control needs to deploy anything, it will either be a full course yellow or a red flag.
And there's the message there. So no safety car for this evening's proceedings. And we do now have confirmation that it will be a 15-minute sprint race there. So, Sarah, what are you expecting into turn 1 as of right now? Chaos, or do you think the drivers will be as calm as possible?
I think for the top 2, they are fighting for every single point. I mean, the top 2 in the championship, and they are starting P5 and P6. So for them, it will be a lot about risk management, because starting in the midfield is never really that easy. Because you're also at the mercy of everyone else around you, and some people are more aggressive than others, and you just need to judge it perfectly how much space you give to each driver, because with each driver it's gonna be very different.
And here we go, we're about to find out where things are. The countdown should begin at any moment. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights on your screen for the sprint. It's going! Road America, Makova there with a good start, but Johan Karolczak was equal to it. Gonzalez also getting a good start, getting alongside the Doug Paul driver. It's turn 1. Someone in the background there has struggled to get off the start, but it's somehow Makova that gets ahead. Karolczak is forced wide there, and that is Gonzalez up into second place. Bit of contact between the 2 drivers, and there we go. Nice start from Makova, nice start from Gonzalez, but Karolczak on the comeback now, and he's now back up into second, and that is forcing Gonzalez to use his push to pass Rojas. Now up into third as well, as we go side by side for the lead of the race between Makova and Karolczak. Karolczak to the outside, force of there's contact between them, and that allows the Porsche Super Formula teams into first and second. There was more drama at the back. I think that was Makova and Muck that were involved there, but Karolczak makes contact with I can't remember who that was. That it was Makova, and that forces Makova down to 9th place. Unfortunate start for the American driver, Sarah.
That is a very unfortunate start for the American Dogpaw team, with this being their home race, as we see 2 Porsches fighting ahead, but the only 2 Porsches that are scoring points are Stoppa and Rojas. So if Gonzalez wants to help his teammates, he wants to let them by, but it does not seem like that. It's a very frantic start with everyone battling. Wow. They're going step by step, they're making contact even. No one is giving an inch today, and somehow it's only resulted in 1 casualty.
Somehow, indeed, I do not understand how most cars are still pointing in the right direction, but here we go, let the chaos ensue. We got on to lap 2 out of whatever, and here we go, the Porsche's going side by side yet again. Rojas to the lead of the race. Here we go though, what will it be into turn 1? At the moment, all well and good, but Karolczak was down the inside of Stopper there. Looks like he got that done, but I think he was just beyond the curbing there, so he might have to give that back. So Stopper to the inside of turn 3 forces Karolczak off. More contact between the 2 drivers, but an insane start. This is so far. Karolczak is coming back at them yet again. Here we go, down into turn 5. There's also a battle for second, hotting up. Karolczak down the inside of Stopper. There might be more contact. Karolczak forces Stopper off, and oh no! Oh, one of the Porsche Super Formulas, Gonzalez, after a fantastic start. I think Park even went right into the back of the Porsche Super Formula team, and that car went flying into the barrier, and now Gonzalez has it all to do from 8th place. That is unfortunate for him, Sarah.
What is happening in this race? It feels like everyone is fighting with everyone. It's difficult to pinpoint any certain battles because one moment one's battling one driver and then they're battling another. As we see Carl Jack overtaking Stoppa, or rather defending from Stoppa. And it feels like, if you look at Johan driving, he's not driving for anything in the championship, but he's really getting involved in the championship fight. And I must say, he got involved in contact with Juniper Makova, which I would say was more on Juniper being too aggressive. And now he's defending against Stoppa, which is really doing a lot for Andy Park, who also got involved in contact of his own. As we see Jesper Stoppa go for the inside, and that is how you make a move at turn 1, because you hanging it around the outside is very, very, very scary and way too risky. Yes. Another thing that is too risky is dipping a wheel onto the grass, because that does not have much traction.
And Kowalczak pays for his mistake there. He was making things rather exciting at the front, but unfortunately for him, has now got Spider for company. Has 4 seconds to make up, and with 10 and nearly and a half minutes to go, it's gonna be one again. Has left himself a bit of a challenge there, and Ray Spider might fancy himself against the French driver. We'll see how that pans out as we see Makova in the background there, who was of course involved in contact with Kowalczak earlier on. That's why she finds herself down in the top half of the field there. But at the moment now, your top 3 are only separated by a whole, I would say 2.7 seconds there, 2.6 seconds, depending on how you're looking at it. But at the moment, they are closing up to one another. Stoppa's closing up to Park, and Park is closing up to Rojas. So I think we've got an absolutely excellent setup here for an absolutely classic sprint race. And you never know, Hi Callis as well, up into 4th place there, qualified 7th earlier on, and now it's starting to spice up. So Sarah, where do you see this going? Because I think this is gonna get more and more exciting as things go on.
The good news for Andy Park is that he has pace. He has just set the fastest lap of the race, about 3 tenths faster than both of his rivals. But the bad news is that he is sandwiched between his 2 rivals, between Fernando Rojas and Ijsbrand Stoppa, who he's fighting in the Drivers' Championship as well. And this is very, very, very bad news for Dogpa in the Teams Championship. And really, Fernando Rojas and Ijsbrand Stoppa have this in their hands, as Andy loses mysteriously 6 tenths of a second, possibly trying to avoid a track limits penalty, as we did see him go off a little bit.
We did as well. I did actually see Stopper as well in the background, just into turn 1. Looked like he just went a bit too far beyond the striped curb there, so I think he was also having to slow down just a little bit to make sure he didn't gain any sort of advantage from doing that. But at the moment now, we are seeing Makova start to set up Spider for a move. Now remember, if you've just joined us, you've missed an absolutely emphatic start to the race. Makova involved in contact, which sent her down the field, and Gonzalez as well looked like he had a bit of contact from Andy Park. It sent him flying out of turn number 6 there into the barrier. Gonzalez has continued on, but is 5 seconds away from Makova as things stand right now. Don't think Makova's going to have a chance to get this move done into Canada corner. Not close enough as of right now. Oh, and a bit beyond the track limits there, I would say, at turn number 8. But at the moment now, Park has closed up to Rojas. So I think it's only a matter of time before we see a move being done. He was 6 tenths faster than Rojas ahead. So I am certain now this lap is where we're going to see things being done. Nicely done there with the track limits as well into turn 1. I think he's just started. No, he's recharging the pass to pass as of right now. But here we go. Here we go. Rojas with a mistake, and Rojas defending to the inside. He knows what's at stake now, and Park gets that done easy as you like. But does Rojas have anything to fight back with? He cuts to the outside, no, to the inside, breaking like that's contact between the 2 of them. Oh my word, Rojas will have to rejoin. No, sorry, Park will have to rejoin safely as well as Rojas. But controversy again, Sarah.
I have to say, Andy did just kind of just turn in on Rojas. He saw him going down the inside, and he has to wait for him to go back before he tries to switch back, and he makes another mistake, goes around, and that is terrible, 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 terrible news for him, and absolutely not what he needed to do today.
Absolutely, the championship on the line here for Andy Park, but at the moment Makova is now trying to have a look at Ray Spider here. Karoshak and Haikalis have swapped positions up ahead as well, but let's have a look at this. We're on the outside of the kink, now coming through to the Kettle corner, and will Makova hold this for 5th place on Ray Spider? Here we go, they go side by side, there's more contact! Unbelievable stuff! Have we tuned into Wreckfest by accident? I don't know! Oh my word! No driver is keeping it calm! It is all red round Road America, and at the moment, Sarah, it is just chaos as, well, Haikalis is off the podium as of right now, but we're about to go down the Makova. No, that's Park going down the inside of Spider there. It's turn 1. Park gets that done rather easily.
Yeah, after 10 minutes of frantic overtake, it's very refreshing to see a clean overtake this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but now it's starting to finally calm down, but only as a result of all the carnage that has happened with, specifically both dogpile drivers crashing out and being involved in incident after incident, and
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to say more about dogpile drivers getting involved in incidents today.
Dogpaw not having the best of evenings as of right now. 5.5 minutes to go in the sprint race, and there might only be more to come. Well, I say that now. Makova's got 8 seconds to their teammate Park in front. And, well, Haikalis, there's Nokiolina there down in the chat cheering their team on as of right now, but Andy Park might be waiting to take away 4th place from Nick Haikalis in front. At the moment, Park with the pace, but I imagine I wouldn't want to be a steward after this, would you, Sarah?
You know that I'm a steward, right?
Oh, never mind then. I will shut up. We'll pretend I never said that.
I agree with you, by the way, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look over this, and it's gonna be a very long night, especially since I'm not gonna be able to see anything on the dogpile incidents, which there are a few. So yeah, I'm just gonna be watching and enjoying the show because it is gonna be a long night tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. So, Sarah there giving us a bit of information. Shouldn't Park give back the position? Well, a lot's happened here. I don't really know if I can even keep up myself, but I mean, it would be in a nice sporting code of like a gentleman's agreement, for lack of a better word. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't know what the rules would state. I imagine whatever goes to the stewards will go to the stewards, and they'll review it and give punishment there and then. I'm sure, Sarah, you could give us a bit of information of what's available in terms of a penalty when an investigation is reported. So, for say, like, you know, just for the dogpaw instance, let's say, can you just give an example for the guilty party? I'm not necessarily saying give a verdict now, if you know what I mean.
It really depends on the severity of the incident, or really the severity of the action that caused the incident, because some actions are just small misjudgments but with a good idea behind them, and some are just reckless driving, which will get penalized much harsher than a small tiny misjudgment or something that's just really tough or 50-50.
Gotcha. Okay, so there you go. We're having nervous moments here because Haikalis is now having to depend from a dogpaw driver. Of course, we've seen them be involved in incidents. Remember, this is just a sprint race. We still have the feature race to come. 20 laps of more adrenaline-filled action to come, and Haikalis holds it. That's very risky considering the track record that has been shown this afternoon thus far. And Park is still there round the inside. Haikalis sticking it round the outside. I think, though, he will have to concede lead here because I imagine Park has the pace down the straights, although Park deciding not to use his push to pass this time around. Oh my word! That was more on high callus there, I would imagine. Looked like he was just turning in and not giving Park the space, but in the end, Park up into 4th place, putting 2 wheels on the grass and somehow still pointing in the right direction. But there you go, a better move from Park there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, an incredible bravery from Haikalis, I must say, that is hanging it around the outside of Andy Park as we see Fernando Rojas make a mistake and that promotes Carl Jack into P2. It's even when the race calms down, you still see people making mistakes and spinning around, and I wonder if that's gonna carry on to the feature race, because remember, we are in the sprint race. This is only the appetizer.
Exactly, and also, with that mistake from Fernando Rojas, guess who's in the rearview mirror of Rojas? It's Andy Park. Well, here we go again. Let's see, 1 second separating the Dogpaw and the Porsche Super Formula car. We will have, I think we'll have one last lap after this. Oh no, does it just go down to 0 and then that's it? I'm not quite sure.
It's if the clock reaches 0, sorry, I don't know. Sorry.
It's
the
wet
moment the
rules,
clock
so once it hits 0, that's it. So if the clock hits 0 and they've crossed the line, when they cross the line again, that is it. It's not 0 plus 1.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the moment the moment the clock hits 0, the leader is on the last lap, and whatever lap they are on is the last lap. So once they complete that lap, the race is over.
Thank you very much, Nick, there for confirming that with us. Of course, that is your race director for the proceedings there, just chiming in there, filling us in when he can, and we appreciate his input. But now Park is all the way up to Rojas here, and Andy Park going to try and find his way past, hopefully cleanly, against the Porsche Super Formula team. And of course, these two are involved in a constructors' battle as of right now, but Stopper has pulled out all the stops here, and he is leading the way, and he should be approaching what I hope is his final lap. I'll cut to Park in just a second. Park and Rojas, in terms of push to pass, Rojas has 3 more in hand. I just want to try and keep an eye on the lead as well to see if we'll get one more lap. But at the moment, we are seeing, I think we're about to see a move from Andy Park. Here we go, around the outside into Canada corner. Space is given there.
Leader on the final lap.
Leader on the final lap, and it is gonna be this lap, so it's gonna be Stopper that wins in the sprint race in Road America. Will Koroshan come in second, but now we need to keep an eye on Andy Park now. They are both recharging their push to pass, so Park needs to get this done, if possible, with Slipstream coming in close enough. No, not quite, so it's gonna be third Rojas, but we are gonna have to wait and see, because incidents in the stewards room might have something to say about the running order. High Callis came home in 5th, Makova in 6th, Spider will come home in 7th, Alex Muck will...
just for everyone else across the line, the race is over, you can stop racing.
Just the race director activating panic mode there and just kind of saying, hey, please stop racing, it's over now. But Gonzalez, oh, that is going to be painful. Sarah, fantastic start, and now all the way down in last place, 9th place, no points from this race for him.
And that is really disappointing, because he was in the podium places at the start. He was in P2, and that would have by far been his best finish ever in AFR. And unfortunately, it was not to be.
Absolutely, I think Alex Book ran out of fuel there. Whoa, and the Porsche Super Formula having to take avoiding action.
And that's the race over. We'll see you all in the feature in about 2 minutes.
All right then, feature will be in 2 minutes, but while we're just switching things over, I do just want to remind you now of your calendar. So obviously this week we are at Road America, as you have already seen. In 2 weeks' time, on the 19th of January, the final race of Season 12 will take place in Suzuka. That should be nothing short of exciting, but I do believe now Stopper already has one hand on the trophy, and I think, if I've got this correct, Sarah, he should be champion by this evening's proceedings, but he has dropped 1 point in quali.
He has dropped 1 point in qualifying, but without penalties applied, he has gained 5 points in the sprint race, which means that Currently he is 32 points ahead of Andy Park, and so to be champion, he will need to be at least 23 points ahead by the end of today.
Incredible. I think he's on pace, and if we just look at the
And just
standings...
information for all drivers, Riceman has informed me that he's getting freeze frames on the starts, and he's requested to be put in P10. So Alex Muck and Leslie Peters, you will have been moved up one position to accommodate that.
Oh, wow. So freezes on the start for Stopper, which means he will start P10. So that means he goes from second
Spider, not Stopper, Spider.
Spider. Sorry about that. I misheard that entirely. So thank you, Nick, for correcting there. But anyway, at the moment, Stopper, I believe, has done it. Well, is currently doing enough to win the championship as things stand right now. Oh, I've had a handshake fail. Just a second. I'm having issues getting into the server. I think it's being restarted at the moment. So,
Not on yet. Basically, as things are right now, if Icebrand finishes at least P6 in the race, he becomes champion.
And
if he does not finish P6 and Andy gains at least, goes at least, well, actually, let me correct myself. Andy needs to win the race to keep himself in the championship. And Icebrand, all Icebrand needs to do is finish P6.
Wow, okay, so Andy at the very minimum needs to, well, Andy at the most needs to win today. Go on.
Or if we're expecting Icebrand to not gain any points in the last round, Andy could theoretically finish P2 with the fastest lap, and then he will have 1 point in it, which would mean that Icebrand will have to not score any points in the last weekend, and Andy would have to have a perfect weekend.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Of course, Icebrand Stopper, well, we'll just go through your grid one last time. We'll bring the countdown music online for you, but for the feature race in Road America, on pole position is Andy Park. Then in second place, it's Icebrand Stopper. Third is Fernando Rojas. And then Gunsuki Gonzalez in fourth, hoping for better luck this time than he did in the sprint race. Johan Karolczak in fifth, and Hai Callis in sixth there. For the, oh, hang on a minute. I don't think I'm on the right scene either. So let's put it back to the right scene and try and do that again for you. I do apologize.
Discord stream, please, by the way.
Discord stream as well. So it's all hands on deck for me here. But at the moment now. So Andy Park there, as I've already stated, pole position. Stopper in second. Third is Rojas. Fourth is Gonzalez. Fifth is actually Johan Karolczak. I do apologize. Then it's Makova in sixth, Hai Callis in seventh, Peters in eighth, Muck in ninth, and Spider, of course, with the screen freezes, has decided to start from 10th place. But now it's a decider. So if Stopper finishes where he is right now, he's champion as it is. So, Sarah, what's the thought process going into here if you're Andy Park?
Put everything on the line, knowing Andy. Because I don't think Andy will want to give up until the very final lap where it's over. And I don't think he's gonna give any room to Icebrand on the race start or at any part in the race, really. And I think he's even willing to get involved quite hands-on, if I must say. I don't think he's afraid of getting into an incident with him, as long as he comes out ahead. Because really, there's nothing he can really do right now. He's in a very, very weak position against Icebrand, who already has one hand on the trophy.
The lights have come on now, so we are going to be underway in a few moments' time. But Sarah, making it sound like a Santa Prost situation. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights on the screen for the feature. We go again in Road America, and I think Stopper got the better start there. Andy Park, though, is equal to it for the time being. Fernando Rojas there, up into third place. The Porsche Super Formula team just trying to sort themselves out, but Rohan has gone alongside. Park ends up in the lead for now. That's what he needs to do. And Karolczak unable to take advantage there of any sort of start there. So everybody very much line astern off the start there. Park Stopper, Karoshak and Haikalas using their push to pass right on the go. And Stopper will have to slipstream coming down into turn number 5. Gonzalez overtakes his teammate. It's 3 wide between them into turn 5. Oh, there's contact again. And this time, Karoshak is involved. Haikalas is horrendous further contact. Oh my word, chaos at the start there. And I think we have a full course yellow.
And it looks exactly like the restart in the sprint race, with similar people involved. This time it was Karolczak once again on the outside being taken out by the car on the inside going deep into the corner. And how unfortunate is it, as we now have a full course yellow to gather our thoughts, really. And I think we kind of need it.
Yes, I agree with that one. But at the moment there, I just want to say, well, your championship contenders are sharing the same piece of track. They are only separated. Well, don't take that timing as a literal thing. But the Nokiolina racing team are saying nah in chat. They cannot believe what's happened to Haikalas here, down to 10th position, and that is a very unfortunate set of circumstances. I do just want to run through the points while I've got some time before the race director calls it. So for P1, you earn 20 points, P2, 15 points, P3, 11, P4, 8 points, P5, 6 points, P6, 5 points, P7, 4 points, P8, 3 points, P9, 2 points, and P10 gaining your points. So as long as Haikalas finishes the race, he's got points guaranteed. And at the moment, well, we have had a full course yellow brought out for multiple incidents down into turn 5 from the Marine sweeper here. So we'll see what happens, Sarah.
With the full course yellow, I believe this full course yellow is gonna last a long time, because there are several cars with very, very bad damage from that incident. Because I saw one person going full speed into the incident, and that would have definitely broken some wings. And with how the strategy is in AFR, some people are gonna opt to make their mandatory pit stop here, because the tires can easily last the entire race. The only really bad thing is that they will be worn, and you will be heavy on fuel if you do this. But usually, in my experience, it's always worth it if you can. And I suspect we're gonna see every single person in the field do this, except for Juniper Makova, who opts to just gain track position or gamble on the full course yellow coming in.
So what's the thinking here? Is this a change of tyres? Is this for fuel? What's going on here? Because even I'm a little confused.
They are completing their mandatory pit stop, so they don't have to pit again.
I see, and what?
And a full course yellow ending in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Green flag, green flag.
And just for note to drivers there, as we're seeing Rojas... Oh, no! So just a little note there. Rojas is going to get a penalty. You are not supposed to cross the right dotted line there. That was a rule stated in the race briefing there. And that might mean that third place will not go the way of the Spanish driver. But now the battle for the lead is reignited. Haikalas has been told to lock in by chat, but he is still in the pit lane. And that gap will increase second by second the longer he's in there. That is unfortunate for the driver there. And already Alex Mock making his way out. Don't cross that right dotted line, my guy. He follows the race director's instructions to the T there. But Rojas, Sarah, with a penalty to serve, I imagine.
Yeah, that penalty will be applied to him after the race, and will be confirmed later by the stewards meeting, which will go over all of the pit entries and pit exits. But coming back to the lead battle, Iceman is using one of his push to passes just to stay with Andy Park, because Andy Park seems to be faster, and he's using that pace to pull away from him, because the slipstream in this game is at exactly 0.5 seconds, no matter what car you're in.
Oh, no!
As he goes very wide, that's gonna be a track limits warning, and I feel like he's doing that intentionally just to try to stay with Andy Park. But it's not working, and he's just faster, and he doesn't even need to use his push to pass. He's just using his pace, and if he pulls away, he'll have a very, very calm race, unlike the sprint race. And I would even say he finally has a chance to stretch his legs, because in the sprint race he was constantly racing, constantly pushing, constantly trying to come back to Stoppa, who was in the lead ahead of him, and he just made those mistakes in the sprint race, which I think he'll be under a little bit less pressure. Though I know Icebrand will do everything in his power to put that pressure back on him.
We are currently seeing a battle here for third place. It is Makova to the inside of Rojas. Of course, Rojas will have a penalty applied. He crossed the white dotted line there. Unfortunately, for the Nokiolina racing team, Haikales has DNF'd from the race, so he will take no further part. No points for the team, no points for the driver. He will have to come back in 2 weeks' time when we're off to Suzuka. Oh my goodness me. A lot of drivers trying to test those track limits are going very wide indeed, and I think they're just taking warnings to try and gain an advantage on slipstream. But as Sarah was saying earlier on, when we were watching the sprint race not too long ago, a lot of drivers were having to race, and now they're being allowed to stretch their legs. And Stopper there actually getting the gap down to nearly half a second there, and Stopper looking a lot more composed through that corner than he was last lap. But now a battle also brewing for 5th place between Karolshak and Tuki Gonzalez. Again, another Porsche Super Formula team there under pressure. So we'll see how this all goes out. But who's taken your attention so far? I imagine Park, with that lead he has gained, is doing a really good job, but he was just 3/10 slower that lap time around.
Well, currently Icebrand Stoppa has grabbed my attention because he's gotten back into the slipstream, though he has used two push to passes more than Andy Park has. So that will leave him vulnerable for the rest of the race if they ever need to battle, and Andy will have one more push to pass to use, which is very, very beneficial for battling in this car.
Absolutely, as we thought we were going to see a lock-up there from Icebrand there, but keeps it all together. At the moment, we've just got some information from the Nokiolina racing team. It was an engine failure on the Nick Haikales car, and that forced him into a retirement. So unfortunately, that is why he will not be taking any further part. Unfortunate there, so we'll see him back in 2 weeks' time. A couple of battles, though, are starting to brew up. Rojas under further pressure now as Makova has got that gap down to 1.2 seconds. Both Park and Stopper using their push to pass up ahead there. So Park with 8, Stopper with 6, and I think Stopper there might have been a little careless. He doesn't have the upper hand anymore. He is really leaving it all on the line. But as you know, as long as Stopper finishes where he is champion of season 12, so that he's not really needing to do the overtake. He doesn't really need to risk it. But Andy Park, of course, as Sarah mentioned earlier on, Andy Park will be in a very different mindset. Andy Park will not mind getting into an incident as well. So Beak of the Devil, he sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39.218. But at the moment, we are currently seeing if Karolchak can get close enough to have a go. Gonzalez using his push to pass to defend from the French driver behind, and it looks like it's doing enough now as Gonzalez goes 2/10 faster than Johan on that lap around. But at the moment now, it looks like Makova has had a little bit of a mistake there. They've lost nearly over a second there on that lap around, and it is now gone up to 2.5 seconds to Fernando Rojas. Fernando Rojas is starting to find some pace. At the moment, it's all sort of spacing out at the moment. Everybody completing their mandatory pit stops. And it's like, you know, we're in a quiet part of the race now. So what are you, as a driver, what is the thought process going on here? Are you trying to conserve tyres? Or, like, you know, does that also depend on the situation you're in?
It absolutely depends on the situation you're in. But generally, you want to focus on yourself. You don't want to focus about anyone else because, one, you don't want to be distracted, and two, it's not that helpful because really what you need to be focusing on is doing lap after lap, hitting your markers, hitting your braking points, and just doing the best you can, taking care of tires, taking care of risk management. And when you're not in a battle, that's all you need to do. You just need to do your pace and minimize mistakes. And once that battle comes, your focus will obviously shift to that person. But speaking of focus shifting on people. You might see, if you pay close attention to Andy Park and Icebrand Stoppa, you will see their gap fluctuating constantly, and that's not because they are making mistakes. They're uh, obviously far better than that, those two specifically, but it's because they've chosen two different strategies with the setup. You'll see that Icebrand Stoppa is always gaining time in the corners, and Andy Park is always gaining time on the straights, and that's because Icebrand has a higher downforce setup than Andy, which will mean that in the corners he can take far more apex speed, but Andy Park will just pull away on the straight with a higher top speed. And that's gonna play out very interestingly because really Andy is set up for this race much better specifically because it's much more beneficial to have to be faster in the straight line speeds because that's where you will have battles, that's where you will overtake. So if it comes down to a battle, Andy Park will have the advantage due to his straight line speed.
Here we go, though. Stopper's got the slipstream as of right now, although I did think it was the other way around. I just had the feeling like going through the corners there was, ooh, Stopper will be having another warning for that, or he might have done just enough to keep it within track limits. We've had no messages from the race director about that thus far. But still there. Oh my goodness me. And also Stopper is leaving himself very vulnerable here. 6 laps out of 20 and already 4 push to passes to go. So not a preferable situation here if you're Icebrand Stopper. Of course, it doesn't actually matter if you can't get past. Like I keep saying, it's, oh my goodness me. Yet again, keeping it away from the stripped curb there. So that is, I don't know. They might be in some trouble there.
I do also want to remind you that real penalty, which monitors track limits normally, as we see a battle, very tight battle, Gonzalez squeezing Karolchak onto the very edge of the track. I don't know if there was a car that's with there, but Johan did amazingly to keep the car going straight and keep it pinned. So I'm sure he would have had to back out, but as I was gonna say, actually, I'll leave that to after this battle, Dave.
Here we go, though. Gonzalez and Karolchak. And here we go. Karolchak to the outside of turn 5. Couldn't quite make it work. Gonzalez had the inside line, the better momentum. I think Karolchak just honestly missed his braking point, as now Peters and Spider have swapped position thanks to a mistake from the race Spider. And now we cut back to here, but also Stopper still using his push to pass here for the battle for the lead. But at the moment, things calming down yet again, so I do believe you were in the middle of something there, Sarah.
I'm quite impressed that Johan is still trying to go around the outside of turn 5, considering his history there. I would have had PTSD from the incidents he's been involved in, going around the outside there. But yes, as I was saying... What was I saying? I forgot.
Oh shoot, I've forgotten
I
too.
believe you were mentioning track limits. Just so you guys are aware, with the track limits, we only do live track limits during qualifying because we can't really adjust them after the race. But for the races, they are checked during the shooting sessions.
Thank you very much there, Nick. And now, Sarah, we have Juniper Makova in the pits.
Yeah, Juniper was the only person we did not see come into the pit lane, and she's now completing her mandatory stop roughly in the middle of the race. I would say that's actually quite early, so I don't know if there's any other reason for her to come into the pits, or she just wants to get an undercut. But yeah, she will be the last driver to complete a pit stop, and she will come out very far behind all of the other people she would have been fighting. But she will have fresher tires, so hopefully a little bit more pace. But yeah, I don't think she's gonna be in the best position. And someone who isn't in a comfortable position is Tuki Gonzalez. He's squirming around the outside, and Johan's still trying to go around the outside, and Tuki is still not giving him any extra room. And I'm sure Johan is gonna be very frustrated about how much room he's getting, because Tuki is really pushing the limits with how much room he's giving. And that is something I've experienced myself, because Tuki is an extremely aggressive driver.
Tukey indeed making his super formula car as wide as he possibly can and giving Johan very little room, to be honest with you. I would imagine that might go up into the steward's room, but I've just got to say as well, I've been keeping an eye on the push to passes while we've been observing the other battles, with the top two specifically. At the moment, Stopper down to 2 push to passes. He just wants to give Park the fight of his life.
And at this point, Andy would have realized that he does not need to use his push passes at all because, again, because of the setup difference. While Stoppa will be faster in the corners, he's slower on the straight, and the problem is that to be able to overtake, you need to be in the slipstream on the straight. But if you're in the slipstream in the corner before the straight, you have dirty air, and dirty air around this track is very bad because, ooh, as we see Iceburn make a mistake, go wide, save it barely, but lose 3 seconds to Andy Park there. And that is a very impressive and very crucial save. But as I was saying, the straights on this track are preceded by fast corners, most of them. And in fast corners specifically, the dirty air is very bad, so if you want to be close to the car ahead on the straight, you're out of luck because you're gonna lose time in the corner entering the straight. And then if you don't have a lower downforce setup, you're not gonna catch back up.
Peters there proving Sarah's point because now Spider has a run on the car, and Spider and Peters are going to go side by side into turn number 5. There's contact between them. One car nearly flipped into the air, and there's Makova, who of course is on the undercut, has pitted in earlier than these two, but they're going to have to be careful and really might have to just bide their time for a bit. Makova just catching up to all of this. Here we go though, Makova is not going to wait. She's going to try round the outside of turn number 8, but might do the cutback. Oh, but there's contact! And Makova! Another dog paw car! Another incident! And it has been a miserable, miserable evening for that vehicle specifically.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be Juniper right now because I cannot tell how she's feeling right now, having been involved in so much drama. But the good thing is, and one thing I respect her for, she doesn't give up. She goes on and gets the maximum out of this race, even if she's been involved in so many incidents. And Leslie Peters is fighting tooth and nail to keep this position and not leaving any room, which is quite incredible considering their offset and considering their offset in the championship and where they stand, because Juniper is typically a much faster driver. She's not usually meant to battle these cars like Leslie Peters, but because of the strategy offset, she finds herself here, and Leslie is not willing to give up any positions here because, frankly, even though she's on a different strategy, this is for position. Leslie does not need to stop again.
Here we go though, Makova gets a better run out of turn number 3 and now down through turns 4 and now into turn 5. Will there be more contact? We of course hope not, as we hold our breath with anxious anticipation, but at the moment it looks to be all clean and nice for the time being. And here we go, we're approaching the scene of the crime, last lap. Hopefully Makova has learnt their lesson and can just keep it clean. I think she just overestimated how slow Peters was going to go through the corner. Doesn't make the same mistake this time around, would much rather get the momentum out the corner, and now it's going to be looking for a way through. We're around the carousel of turn number 8, and now Peters to the inside rather quickly, and now Makova is going to be round the outside in the kick. Oh my word, she keeps it there somehow. Peters giving her the room as well. Respect the them. There's a bit of contact there, bit of wheel banging as we come to Kettle Downs through to get in the corner. And that is not how we wanted that to end. That is a racing incident, I would say, but Makova, that just really kind of explains her evening in one moment there, wouldn't you say, Sarah?
I'm speechless, to be honest, because you have chaotic race. You have chaotic races, as we see that with Johan, as we cut to him, going wide, drifting, saving it on the grass and coming back, losing just a little bit of time, but enough time to kind of distinguish the battle that has been going on with him and Tuki Gonzalez ahead of him. But yeah, you have chaotic races, but it's very, very rare to see one driver get involved in so many incidents in one evening. And honestly, you really have to feel for the driver, because that is a tough one to take mentally.
Absolutely. Andy Park there just gets fastest lap of the race. I think Stopper has given up the charge for the lead. He doesn't remember if Stopper finishes here and if all things kind of work out for the best, Stopper is champion of season 12. Of course, we'll definitely be announcing that on stream here this evening now. It did start in the afternoon, but now very much as Muck has now made a mistake there. That is through turn number 1 there, and he's just allowing some lapped cars through. That is of Koralchak, who we were just looking at there and then. So it looks like Alex Muck is the first car to fall as a lapped driver now, but Johan Korolchak, things have leveled out with Gonzalez. It's remaining at 2.6 seconds as of right now. And we've just got a chat here. God forbid anyone goes side by side. And I have to say, I do agree in some kind of, in a way, because anytime anyone's gone side by side, it's ended in controversy. Luckily, we haven't needed the full course yellow on certain occasions, but I would say we've been very close. We've been in that territory, but Makova now, despite going for the undercut, that advantage has now gone thanks to all that contact, I would say, Sarah.
I must give my deepest respect to every single person here today who has completed a clean overtake, because I'm sure we'll be watching over those and admiring them more than we will be admiring incidents, because I feel like there's been more incidents than overtakes today.
Yeah, it certainly has been that kind of race, but at the moment now, I just kind of want to say Andy Park has finally used one of his push-to-passes, and at the moment he's now down to 7, so I think Stopper will be conserving for the time being. We are starting to pay attention, though, to the battle for 4th place, because Korolchak is bringing that gap down again. He was a second faster that lap around. Gonzalez doing a 1:48, and Korolchak responding with a 1:39.8. So at the moment, this gap is starting to come down again, but as a famous commentator once said, it's one thing to catch up to the car, it's another thing to overtake them. And so Korolchak, well,
especially today.
Especially today, absolutely. Road America, fast-flowing circuit, lots of dirty air that these cars produce. Not easy to follow. Stopper, though, has brought that gap down a little bit, only by a couple of tenths. Park using his push-to-pass yet again, so he's now down to 6 push-to-passes to go. And Korolchak beginning to catch up to the Porsche Super Formula team yet again, but now underneath a second. So this battle is about to go from 30 to 100 in a matter of moments. And it's at 9/10 of a second now. Johan, it has been a frustrating evening for him. He's been involved in constant fights and battles. You know, in the sprint race, he was involved with Dogpaw as well. Like, you know, we think back to, like, you know, Makova there and him making contact on lap 1 or lap 2. And then, of course, forcing them both down the field there. As, wow, Rojas really going on the edge of track limits there as Korolchak is getting close, but I think patience would be running out for the French driver, wouldn't you agree?
I think he's not gonna be too impatient, even though he's been involved in a lot of incidents, because frankly he is still faster. He's still caught up a 2-second gap, and look at that difference in lap times, almost a second faster than Tuki Gonzalez ahead of him, and there's still plenty of laps to complete the overtake. So I do feel like Johan, with his position in the championship, I think he's coming into this just wanting to have fun, wanting to have a fight, and he's getting that, even though he's getting the rough end of those fights sometimes.
And as that was, wow! Johan Korolchak misses his braking
as he gets
point.
the rough end of the braking zone.
Absolutely, and we saw that earlier on today as well, so that's not exactly unfamiliar territory there, definitely exploring all lines of turn number 5 there, but there you go, Karolczak missing his braking point again, having to take avoiding action, only costing a little bit of time. He's got 7 laps to try and find a way past the Porsche Super Formula driver, but at the moment Gonzalez doing enough to keep the Frenchman behind, and you know, it's just been that kind of race. Gonzalez might be that 1 second slower, but he knows where to place the car, even though he has taken it to the extreme at points. You know, we've seen Johan on the grass, especially approaching turn 1, like, you know, what feels like a lifetime ago, considering all that we have seen this evening. But I can't say it's not been exciting. I can't say that, as at the moment now, that gap goes from 4 seconds to 3.2, and that's for the lead of the race between Stopper and Park. So Stopper finding something from somewhere there. Has Park made a bit of an error? I don't think so. Things are looking normal there. Cut back to the battle for 4 for the time being, and yeah, no, we expected that time to be slower this time because of that mistake into turn 5. But at the moment now, it looks like Park and Stopper are just kind of exchanging lap times as it is right now.
Yeah, I think for us viewers watching this race, it's obviously very exciting, and there's a lot to commentate over. Honestly, more than I've ever seen in a Zaragoza race, because when I compare this to other commentaries that we do together, Dave, it's much easier to follow the strategy on something like the F1 game, where it gives you more indicators, as we see the indicator that Juniper has overstepped the track limits too many times. But today has been different, because it feels like we cannot stop talking about something happening on the track, and I'm very appreciative to have these moments where I can just talk, because I'm sure within like 30 seconds there's gonna be another incident.
Absolutely. We're about to see one. Well, we may be about to see one as Iceburn Stopper takes the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.991. Just to give you an idea, AFR last visited here in Season 9, and Sean Fitzgerald was your winner then, but the fastest lap went to Juniper Makova. That was a 1:39.376, and already we're in the 1:38, so you can just tell how much things have improved. As what is Gonzalez doing there? Nearly going into the concrete wall there. That's not optimal if I know my racing, but I think he's trying to break the slipstream.
Yeah, that is what I call someone still not knowing where the slipstream gap is, even despite having a lot of experience, because Gonzalez has been, and I've seen Gonzalez do the same thing many times, where he tried to break the slipstream even though the driver behind was not in the slipstream. This time Johan is in the slipstream, but for those who are new to this or are unaware, the slipstream is exactly at 0.5 seconds. So if you see someone underneath 0.5 seconds on the leaderboard, they are in the slipstream, or in corners you would call it dirty air, because it's in the corners it's gonna slow you down. On the straights it's gonna give you extra straight line speed.
And there you go. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that breakdown there. We have 5 laps to go, and there's 5 seconds between the top 2. So it looks like Park, as long as he keeps it on the track, is going to be your winner, but it won't be enough to keep the championship alive. So things should confirm. But now Johan to the outside in Canada corner. Holds ground for now. He's looking for the overcut. And now Karolczak onto the grass there, out of Canada corner. He's forced onto the grass. Tuki Gonzalez making his Porsche car as wide as possible. They both use push to pass us now. We go on to lap 17 out of 20, but I think this is going to end in tears. Gonzalez even trying to break the slipstream from the Frenchman behind. It's going to do very little, because Karolczak to the outside. More contact. And where is Karolczak in all of that? He's in the wall at turn 1. Controversy has invaded Road America, and Karolczak in more frustration there.
And I must say, Tuki moved over way too late, because sure he's allowed to squeeze the car who's overtaking him, but he's not allowed to move over that aggressively because Johan had no chance to really react to that, and he's not obligated to go to the very edge of the track. So, and this is a thing that I've seen Tuki do many times, even just this week in another league. But I'm not gonna go into that too much here. But yeah, that is something you cannot really do, and I'm sure that's gonna be looked at by the stewards, unfortunately.
And I guess if you were a steward there, because you did actually see that incident in, well, I don't want to put words into your mouth now. Obviously, the steward's process is the steward's process, but in terms of penalty, what are you looking at there, and what's the thought process?
The penalty is lethal injection, and the process I can describe it to you by googling it, but I'm not gonna go into that.
No problem
but
at all.
In reality, I don't want to get into it because my job as a steward is to handle these things privately and not really give out any early judgments. So I'm not gonna do that in commentary right now.
Fair enough. Sarah, just keeping things civil in the commentary box, and I appreciate that quite a little bit. But obviously, lethal injection is the punishment here in AFR. So, Gonzalez, look forward to that in your post-race, in your post-race debrief, I suppose. But here we go. For legal reasons, it's not. Thank you very much, Nick. But at the moment, Makova might have just enough time to catch up to Spider and take away 6th place. The Dogpaw driver has been in all sorts of incidents, and, well, it might not be over just yet. 3 laps to go for the Dogpaw driver to catch up to Spider, and 3 laps as well for Stopper to try and make some sort of impression on Park, although I do think that that is just a bit of a gap to bring down. Muck, of course, down a lap, as we've already specified, and he's now down a lap to Leslie Peters as well. So Muck down an entire lap on the entire field, and that last lap was a 1:44 there. Muck is learning his way, as Sarah was explaining earlier on, and in actual fact as well, I think the leaders have just crossed the line to start lap 19 out of 20, and Ray Spider there taking an interesting line through turn number 5 there. So it looks like Spider is still struggling with that car just a little bit. And we'll see if it into Suzuki, he can get that all sorted out. But at the moment, he is in 6th position. Now, just to give you an idea, Makova qualified 8th last time out in Belgium. Actually was able to finish 7th. So at the moment, she could just look at improving a position, and she'd be 1 place up on her finishing position a couple of weeks ago. So let's see how this all pans out. And at the moment now, they are going to approach the start-finish line to start their lap, number 19 out of 20, and then the leaders will go on to their final lap not too long after. These two shouldn't be lapped as long as they can keep it clean at the moment. But let's see, where would you expect Makova to make the move, Sarah?
I would say on one of the straights, and potentially the last straight, but this will be her first opportunity. Though she's not close enough for the slipstream, so she will have to wait if she's gonna get the move done. But yeah, the best opportunity on this track is the last straight before the last corners.
We saw Spider there using his last push to pass. Of course, these two have none of them in hand. Look at how close she is as we now come onto the Moraine sweep, which is the separation between turn 3 and turn 5. And it looks like Makova to the inside here will get this now going into turn number 5. Will Spider give her the space? It's looking good so far. They go side by side into turn 5, and Makova gets that done. Look at Spider there with a bit of oversteer. And for the record, that was a clean overtake.
I'm sure we're gonna be, or at least the stewards are gonna be celebrating that one tomorrow. That we didn't have to spend another 10 minutes watching an incident.
Absolutely, but we are now on the final lap of the race. Park did all he needed to do. 1 push to pass in hand, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Stopper has driven to absolute perfection, involved in no real incidents, and Park as well, at least in the feature race, hasn't got himself into any trouble at all. Park did all he could. It was an absolute perfect feature race. The sprint was a bit of a different story, sending it was Gonzalez up into the air at turn number 6, and Park it will sadly not be going any further in terms of his championship taste towards Stopper. He comes around Canada corner now, and he'll come through the final sweepers. He goes right, he'll go left, and then a final medium to high speed corner of turn number 14. Park, you did all you could, but it won't be enough. You'll come across the line as the winner in round 9, but your champion for season 12 in AFR Super Formula, it's Iceberg Stopper, who comes in second place, and that is all he needed to do. Your champion is now officially stated, and Fernando Rojas, a spider, has made a mistake in turn number 5 there, matters very little, but now Chucky Gonzalez, well, he will be in some trouble with the stewards. He's forced. Congratulations, Icebrand, you are season 12 champion, as stated there by the race director's messaging board there. Gonzalez comes home in 4th there for the Porsche Super Formula team. Karolchak, well, he's going to have a few words with a few people, I imagine. It has been contact galore in the sprint and even in the feature. And he will come home in, well, what might be all things considered a disappointing 5th place for him. Makova, though, it not been the best of proceedings for her. It will be, Steward's going to be in for a long night, says the race director in the YouTube chat as well. But Makova will come home 6th place. And, what are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that race? Definitely a lot of contact. It's hard to go side by side here because it's a narrower track than you think, isn't it?
Yeah, this track is quite difficult to go side by side. As we've seen today, it's not just how tight the track is, but the kind of corners we have, because they're all quite tricky corners where you take a lot of speed. And in a car of this speed, you have to be very brave to go for a move here and very committed from the very start, because the corner comes by so quickly. And if you misjudge it just a little bit, or if the car beside you misjudges it a little bit, you have no time to react, which is probably why we've seen so many incidents. But despite all of these incidents, it's as we see Leslie Peters refusing to finish the race. He'll still get P8, but that's not where the finish line is. But anyway, despite all these incidents, I want to come back to talk about Icebrand, because he may have come P2 today and may not have been the fastest, but he's been incredibly consistent this season. And it's some of the best consistency I've seen in this league ever, in my time being here. And it really shows, because he won four races in a row, which is, I don't think that's ever been done in this league. And it really says a lot about how competitive this league is, even judged by this season. They have improved so much. The lap times at every single track have been completely smashed by Andy Park and Icebrand Stoppa, and sometimes even here, Fernando Rojas in his first season has done an incredible job being Icebrand's teammate, and there's still one more round to go. But even the team's championship, thanks to Fernando Rojas, has been all but secured. But yeah, I think Icebrand's season has to be celebrated, because what he's done this season in terms of consistency, in terms of pace, is something that really that is really special in a league as competitive as this.
Just want to say as well, Leslie Peters actually ran out of fuel before the start-finish line. He's just confirmed that in the chat now. Ultra Instinct is his name. So that's what's happened to him there. But I do want to kind of try and get the top 3 in here and have a word with them. So that is of Park, Stopper and Rojas. If we could get them in, that would be nice. I would like to start by interviewing Andy Park first and foremost. And then we'll, of course, anybody outside of that, we will take it from there. Or if the top 3 cannot make it for whatever reason. We do have a couple of people in the waiting room already. But what a race that was! What a way to to absolutely solidify the championship for Iceburn Stopper. I will stop streaming in the Discord just to save some resources on my PC. But yeah, no. Andy Park, if you can make your way to waiting room, we will have a word with you first. But I'll give that about a minute, and then if we don't hear from you, I'll just drag in Iceburn Stopper as he is champion of the world. For season 12. All right, I think we have confirmation from Andy that he's able to do an interview. So, Andy, if you can hear me, please do come into the interview waiting room, and then we will drag you in. So let's see. There we go. So try and drag him in, and there he is. Hello, Andy Park. It was not quite enough to do it in the feature race. You did all you could, but the sprint race was a bit chaotic. Take us through your afternoon's proceedings.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to come with some words, but I don't think. Well, no, sorry, I don't have any words. Congratulations, Iceman. You deserved it.
Well, I guess I do just want to ask one question. Did you feel you did all you could in the feature race? Do you feel like you could? There was no question of effort in this evening.
No, absolutely not. But
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna commentate too much on it.
All right then. Well, look. In that case, if you want to be, if things are just a bit not conforming right now, I will just move on to Iceburn Stopper then. In that case, but thank you anyway for coming in and just taking some questions. Regardless, thank you, Andy.
Take care.
Take care. All right. Well, we'll drag in Iceburn Stopper. Iceburn Stopper, congratulations. You are Season 12 World Champion in AFR. It was a bit of a tough one, I would say, but in the end, it all came through. Just take us through your evening's proceedings.
Well, there was not a whole lot I did. In fact, I didn't do a single lap of practice up until yesterday at like 12 in the morning.
Incredible.
Yeah, so it was never going to be the best race of my life. But I mean, it went pretty good. Obviously, would have liked to race win at the end, but what can you do about it?
And just wanted to know, what was the strategy kind of going into the feature? Obviously, the sprint race was kind of its own race. There was lots of contact. You somehow works your way through it, but at the same time, I imagine just being caught up in all that chaos, it must have been very nerving for you. So was the sprint race, which one was more comfortable for you, the feature or the sprint?
That's a tough one. I think just the feature race, I was more in the zone.
Mm.
Although in the first half, I'd say I was pretty slow. Couldn't really. I think it was because I was behind Andy. And Dirty Air, just like something else. But no, I probably should have just pressed the pass on like the start. I fear that because I just wanted to be ahead of him at least for one corner, which did not happen. Which is a shame. It reminds me of Assen a few seasons ago with Sarah. I was also just behind her the entirety of the race, just really close. That was great fun.
And, well, it looks like Andy Park has been your main competitor throughout the season. Was that I must admit, it must have been an enjoyable championship from your perspective. Was there any sort of doubt you wouldn't win it, or did you always believe throughout the season?
No, I never thought I was gonna win it. But, like, at some point, Andy started having really bad luck. Screen freezes, and then, like, jump start to the lag, and then get DNF in a different race. So it's like, then I just got a whole lot of points, and I was able to just keep momentum going. At some point, it was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna win this.
And what did it feel like coming across the line as Season 12 champion once that effort had finally all worked out?
I mean, felt pretty good, you know. I did appreciate the message from the race director, and I could see it on the screen being like, congratulations on the championship, and I was like, that lightens my mood.
All right, then. Well, look, guys, Sprint Stopper, that's really all I had for you today. Sarah or Anybody, do you have anything else?
Oh yeah, I do want to ask, how are you going to celebrate this?
How am I going to celebrate this? I have not thought of
Or
that,
is
but
it
it is
too early
dinner.
to ask that?
It's dinner soon, so I'll eat some food, some fries, some deep fried snacks. That'll be great.
Sounds like a plan to me. We'll let you get on with your food regardless. But Stopper, thank you so much for taking our questions this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate over the race. Congratulations again, and have a very good final race in Suzuka.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, well, we don't have anybody else in the interview rating room, so we will kind of cut the broadcast there. I do just want to say a final thank you to all of the drivers that took part this evening, despite what happened. Sarah, do you have any final comments for the broadcast?
As a steward, I don't want to see any more races like this. But as a commentator and spectator, I want to see more, and I'm really excited to watch the final race of the season, which will be in 2 weeks' time at Suzuka Circuit, where I'm sure you and I will make a lot of references to a certain event that happened once upon a time.
Yes,
And
though, I hope to make it.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun.
I do hope to make it as well. I'm going to have to check my work schedule. I'm not going to lie to you, but Suzuka's not what I want to miss, that's for sure. Nick, do you have any final comments on the race today?
Please, drivers, stop crashing.
That's fair enough. Short and sweet as we like it. But anyway, you two, I'm going to sign off the stream. I'll be back in just a second. Thank you so much for your company this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you both. And hopefully see you in 2 weeks' time. All right then, well look, from everybody and ourselves at AFR, we just want to say thank you to the viewers for watching as well. As you can see there, round 9 out of 10 has been completed. Your driver's champion is now confirmed as Icebrand Stopper, and we will now go through to round 10 in Suzuka as more of a scrimmage rather than a championship fight. But otherwise, thank you to the stewards, the admins, the drivers, the viewers, and of course, my co-commentator, Sarah Morfetova, and the race director in Nick. This would not be possible without you, and thank you all so much for watching. From wherever you may be in the world, we wish you all from AFR a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at 4 PM GMT for Suzuka. Don't go anywhere. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time we upload and go live. But until then, bye-bye for now.